Welcome to the Gospel Road. We are going to look at Jeremiah 17. It says, "The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, with a point of diamond. It is engraved on the tablet of their heart, on the horns of their altars, while their children remember their altars and their Asherim, besides every green tree and on the high hills, on the mountains and the open country, your wealth are and all your treasures. I will give you spoils as the price of your high places for sin throughout all your territory. You shall loosen your hand from your heritage that I gave to you, and I will make you serve your enemies in a land that you do not know. For in my anger a fire is kindled that shall burn forever. Thus says the Lord, cursed is the man who trusts in a man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart turns away from the Lord. He is like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see any good come. He shall dwell in the parched places of the wilderness and in a uninhabited salt land. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream, and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately sick. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart and test the mind, to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. Like the partridge that gave a brood that she did not hatch, so is he who gets riches, but not by justice. In the midst of his days they will leave him, and at his end he will be a fool. The glorious throne set on high from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. O Lord, the hope of Israel, all who forsake you shall be put to shame. Those who turn away from you shall be written in the earth, for they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living water. Heal me, O Lord. I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for you are my praise. Behold, they say to me, where is the word of the Lord? Let it come. I have not run away from being your shepherd, nor have I desired the day of sickness. You know what came out of my lips. It was before your face. Be not a terror to me. You are my refuge in the day of disaster. Let those put to shame who persecute me, but let me not be put to shame. Let them be dismayed, but let me not be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of disaster. Destroy them with double destruction. Thus said the Lord to me, go and stand in the people's gate, by which the king of Judah enter, and by which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and say, hear the word of the Lord, you kings of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, who enter these gates. Thus says the Lord, take care for the sake of your lives, and do not bear a burden on the Sabbath day, or bring it to the gates of Jerusalem, and do not carry a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, or do any work, but keep the Sabbath day holy, as I commanded your fathers. Yet they did not listen or incline their ear, but stiffened their neck, that they might not hear and receive instruction. But if you listen to me, declares the Lord, and bring in no burden by the gates of the city on the Sabbath day, but keep the Sabbath day holy, and do not work on it, then there shall enter by the gates of this city kings and princes who sit on the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their officials, the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall be inhabited forever. And people shall come from the cities of Judah and the places around Jerusalem, from the land of Benjamin, from the Shephelah, from the hill country, and from the Negeb, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices, grain offerings and frankincense, and bringing thank offerings to the house of the Lord. But if you do not listen to me, to keep the Sabbath day holy, and not to bear a burden and enter by the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then I will kindle a fire in its gates, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and shall not be quenched. Jeremiah 17. Rest. That's what I'm hearing out of that, right? Of course, it's all about the Sabbath day, keeping it holy, right? But it's rest. I mean, it is. That's what we always talk about. And we are kind of in the season of rest right now. I came downtown today, and well, it was a ghost town yesterday, kind of a ghost town today, because people are taking time off. I was kind of, shall we say, yelled at because I've not taken a lot of time off. I haven't for a while. I mean, I did kind of when I started the new job. But I've got some things I need to get done today, this week, I should say, because getting to the end of the year and I'm still trying to work on invoices. Now, how many times do we sit there because we always have an excuse of why it needs to get done? Now, there are ways to maybe get some work done and get some rest, relax a little bit at the same time. There's ways of doing that. Not everybody can understand that. Not everybody does that. I mean, I actually have some meetings this week, but it is funny on how people look when it comes to their life, their PTO, paid time off or vacation days. Some have both, some have sick days, some just have the PTO, which includes the sick days and vacation. It's always funny when you are looking at companies and how they define things. How do you define things? How do you define you? How do you define your work ethic? Are you a workaholic? I cannot deny that for myself. But then there was so many times through my life that I was struggling so much financially. Not that I was chasing a dollar. I just needed to pay bills. I had responsibilities. See, now there's a difference between chasing a dollar and just trying to make that dollar. There really is. Now, some will say, no, it's the same thing. You're chasing a dollar. No, it is a fine line. You do have to be careful. And I remember when I was struggling those years, there was time that I would take time off. There was time that I wasn't working. Now, if I had a full-time job, I was getting paid. If I had a part-time job, I wasn't getting paid when I took that time off. But we have to realize rest. It's important. I always talk about getting that full night's sleep, 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. I try to do my best. And I have some friends that kind of question me on that because I'll be going to bed early because I'm old. And they're like, oh, why are you going to bed so early? Well, because I get up early. Now, so do they, but it's like they live a life of FOMO, the whole fear of missing out. So they have to be up late. They get up early. They're constantly tired. They're always cranky. They're never happy. Well, did you think about the whole rest issue? I know a lot of people have problems sleeping. I have a good friend of mine. He cannot sleep through the entire night. I don't care if he goes to bed at midnight. He's up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up, going to the gym, just because he doesn't sleep well. I have a few friends that are like that. They're basically insomniacs almost. Not full, but pretty doggone close. And it's their way to try and figure out how to deal with that. And then some do not want to deal with the going to the doctor and having the conversations because they're not wanting to be on more medication. And okay, sometimes we have to deal with things because it's not just going to settle on your own. Or are you actually trying to figure out a solution, or are you just going through the motions? I'll be honest, sometimes I am not the best at finding solutions. I've been dealing with pains for months. It's finally getting out, working its way out. I was having a hip and leg, and I mean, it's what it is, right? But it's finally loosening it up so I can walk better and bend better and different things. But again, it's remembering to take care of ourselves. I think sometimes when we are reading the scripture and we're looking at when God is talking about the Sabbath day, keeping it holy. Remember, he created it in 6 days and rested on the seventh. I think that's the reminder of we need to take a break for ourselves, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, it could be a day of, giving praise and worshiping God. But the idea is you're still taking a break. You're relaxing. We are in a world that things are open 7 days a week. So maybe your day is not going to be the day that was assigned if you are in a specific religion, but it's taking a day to where you're not toiling. You're not doing anything. In other words, when they're saying not doing anything, that means it's not doing the laundry, it's not cleaning the house, it's not, which is hard when you have a family because there's things that need to get done. And it's hard when you're working a 40-hour-a-week job. Now, we know the reality, you might be working a 40-hour-a-week job, but if you are getting an hour lunch every day, that means you're actually working, 45 hours because you're not working 8 hours a day. You're working 9 minus the lunch. Now, there's the drive time to get to and from work, and that could be up to an hour each way. Now we're talking 55 hours a week right there just dealing with work, right? Because you got the hour in the morning, the hour in the afternoon, 5, 10. That could be 55, 60 hours a week. And that's dealing with your commute. That's dealing with your lunch. And then that's actually working the time that you are working. Things have changed. A lot of that is work from home. So you don't have to do as much. You don't have the commute anymore. You still have the lunch. But I know some people, let's be honest, you're working from home, you're throwing in a load of laundry while you're working. You're multitasking a little bit. And sometimes you're at a job that you can do that. Sometimes you're even at a flexible job where mine's a little more flexible now than where I was, not so rigid, because it helps me to where I have to take care of my parents if I need to. If something happens that my aunt's not able to take them to an appointment, I can help them and get them to an appointment. Or there is a prescription ready at the pharmacy, I'm able to go pick that up. So it's a little more flexible for me to do things to help take care of them as they're getting older and getting up there in age. See, when it comes to rest, how are you taking that rest? How are you making it work? How are you taking time for you to recharge, to recuperate? Yes, I'm not taking a week off at a time and going somewhere. Not all of us can afford that. And not all of us can actually do that because of responsibilities, because you're not sure what's going to happen. You're not sure how you're going to deal with that. It says, I, the Lord, search the heart and test the mind to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruits of his deeds. So how are you searching your heart, searching your mind, right? What are you doing to maybe help produce that fruit in your life? By taking that time, by resting, taking some time for you. I know it's not always easy. Trust me, I know. Because I have friends that deal with families that there's no way they can get time for themselves because everybody's pulling them every which way but loose. That's a movie. Clint Eastwood movie. Who remembers that? But sometimes you got to do that. How are you doing it? How are you getting out and enjoying life the best you can? What are you getting out to do that helps you rest and relax? To clear your mind, to not think about what's going on right now, to not think about tomorrow, to not think about what you forgot to do yesterday because now it's on your to-do list. Like I said, I've got things I need to try and get done this week. Will I get them done? I'm really going to try, but I can't guarantee that 100%. But I'll get almost all the way there, which is I'll be closer than where I was. So that means it'll have to roll into the new year as we're getting ready for 2024. See, this is the thing. We're all dealing with the end of month, end of year. You work at a job every year. Every month you have the end of month. You've got to, get things done before the end to make sure things are submitted, ready to go, or maybe even it's an accountability thing that everything is logged and done. but how many times are you holding yourself accountable and really doing that checklist in your life to see where you are, to see what you're doing, to see how you're doing it? Those are things we need to really think about, because we have to do that. We need to hold ourselves accountable to get things done. Otherwise, we always feel rushed. I know I can run into that a lot of times. Sometimes even trying to hold yourself accountable, it's not easy, because either you're cleaning up something or you're waiting for somebody else to get something done, or always just waiting on an answer, which then throws you into a tizzy trying to get things. And then you get frustrated, you get annoyed, you get overwhelmed. But how are we dealing with that with ourselves, right? Yeah, we have to do that occasionally. We have to figure out where we are, what we're doing in life, where we're going to go, what we need to do, right? It's that balance sheet of life. How is that balance sheet coming out? Auditing, auditing your life. Again, month end, getting things done. Basically, you're auditing. End of year, you're auditing. Companies go through an audit every year, a financial audit, other audits with jobs and how people are doing. We all get that review every year. How did you do over this last year? How did you do? How did you do yesterday? How did you do over the last month? What are you doing to grow, to be the best that you can be, right? I know I audit myself all the time and I fail. Keep talking about this other podcast I'm getting trying to get back up and running again with the new job, but well, things are busy. I'm getting there. In fact, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and they're like, we need to do that because I want to do that with you, which is great because, that's a great way, another way that I can bring people in with that, having conversations of what we can do to be better, how we can help businesses to be better, even learning about businesses and what they do and how they can help one another, right? It's always sharing with each other to help each other, to help everybody to be the best that they can be, to do what they can. Jeremiah 17, that's what we looked at today. How does it help you? Be sure to look at it. Check it out. How can you apply it professionally, personally, mentally, physically, spiritually? How can you apply it to yourself to be that better person, to treat others kindly? The Tim McGraw song, be humble and kind. How many of us are humble and kind? That's a good question. Yeah. We always have to have, like I said, go through that list constantly to see where we're standing. Check it out, Jeremiah 17. Thank you so much for listening. If you appreciated this, thank you. You can always share it on social media, friends, family, and whoever. You can also give me a rating, which always helps as well. But find me on social media as well, Facebook, Twitter, X. Sorry. See, there you go. We're also used to that anymore, aren't we? Threads, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I don't know. I'm on so many. I can't even keep track anymore. Oh, but you can always find me at My Buddy Jimmy or mybuddyjimmy.com. See all the things that I share and all the goofy stuff. And I always when I see people that favorite a video or share it or like it, I or make their comments, which I always appreciate. That's it feels good because you never know who's paying attention or who's listening. We've all been there. And I've worked a career of that, of who's listening. And sometimes you never know, right? Jeremiah 17. Be sure to check that out, to use that in your life, to audit your life, to hold yourself accountable. Maybe finding that friend to have them help you hold yourself accountable to get something done. All right. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Next one's going to be a new year, 2024. This was the last one. I have a few more days of words that I'll be sharing before that will even end up being into the new year too. But I know I'll be seeing my daughter on New Year's because I was supposed to do it on Christmas Eve, but it got postponed. She took the kids out to see Christmas lights because the oldest is really getting into the Christmas lights. That should be fun. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hope you have a safe and happy New Year. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
If you're looking for help with software, app, web development, be sure to check out my friends at ingenuitycompany.com. They believe in their clients. Software development, app development, web development, visioning, design thinking, diagramming, organizational development, strategy. They can help you at the Ingenuity Company. Find out more at ingenuitycompany.com.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.